course, we start with the deeply upsetting story of Brianna Ghey, who was stabbed 28 times in broad daylight last February by two people she believed were her friends.
Yesterday, the two 16-year-olds were named in court as Brianna's murderers and sentenced. Scarlett Jenkinson for 22 years and Eddie Ratcliffe for 20 years. Jenkinson in particular was said to have enjoyed the killing of Brianna Ghey so much that she had a desire to kill again.
Well, the court also heard that the pair were from normal, respectable homes and had never been in trouble with the police before. So today we're asking, as I'm sure many of you up and down the country are asking as well, how do two seemingly average 16-year-olds murder a friend in such a sadistic and brutal way?
Does that kind of behaviour come from nurture or nature? That's the question we're posing today.
Yeah, loads of you getting in touch this morning. We're just going to share a few of your emails. Wendy says, yes, I think you can be born evil. We are all aware of many dogs, particularly very badly treated, and yet have the most delightful natures when given a chance. I think it's politically incorrect to say that people are born evil, but yes, I believe that they are.
Andrew says, I knew Michael Ryan and met him the day before he murdered 17 people and injured as many during the Hungerford massacre. I know this is a different subject. Up to that day, in my experience, he was a normal person, polite and knowledgeable. So...
Yeah, and Daniel finally says, I do believe that some people are born with that gene. It remains dormant until they're triggered by something that they see on media or social media. I don't think it's nature. I believe it's nurture. Well, do keep reviews coming in on that subject. I do think it's a question that many people are asking this week and will continue to ask for many days and many weeks following this case. Well, joining us now is campaigner and founder of the Breck Foundation and the mother of Breck Vedner, the 14-year-old boy who was murdered after being groomed online in 2014. This is his mother, Lorin Lafave. First of all, Lorin, I'm so sorry for your loss, and thank you so much for joining us this morning to discuss just such a horrific crime, which I'm sure must have really struck you this week as well.
It did. I've thought about Brianna a lot this week because there are similarities in my son Breck's case and this case with killers sort of having just a really, what I do consider to be an evil side, a cold side, and an uncaring side to be able to take a life when lives are so precious. So, yeah, it's hard-hitting.
Mm-hmm. You think in this day and age, trolling and those sorts of things would be regulated, there wouldn't be such a thing, and it's just getting worse and worse. I mean, what's being done about it? It's unbelievable.
I think it is difficult. There's so many issues and things that children face online, from having the algorithms push harmful content towards them, leading them to see more and more maybe violent or sexualized content, and it becomes normalized. And this, it'll be interesting now to see what comes out with what these two killers were really like, because some of it has seeped out about Scarlett having to switch schools because she'd given cannabis gummy to a younger child. I mean, that's not something that my child would ever get away with. I'd be quite angry if they were doing it themselves, let alone sharing it with a younger child. So I think that as much as I don't want their names to be glorified because they are killers, I do feel that at least now we can understand more of what was happening in Brianna's life and what led to her murder.
Because there was a lot of controversy about this pair being named, wasn't there? They were referred to as Girl X and Boy Y throughout the trial. The judge then said the public interest was so great that their names had to be out there, those pictures and names released yesterday. But Brianna's father's saying he's now changed his mind. He wanted them to be named, but now he says, actually, no, I want the only name out there to be Brianna's.
I watched his interview and I was heartbroken because I can feel the heartbreak he's feeling. And I completely understand, but if you don't name the person, you don't learn the lessons of the case and what to look out for next time. Hopefully, like Breck's killer, they'll be banished to prison because they're all similar. They haven't shown remorse. They're not sorry. So, yes, we know their names, but in Breck's case, his killers changed his name in prison anyway. So as much as we want to blank them and they're invisible to us, we need to use these stories to learn lessons.
I suspect they'll get an incredibly much harder time now everyone knows what they look like.
Well, and that's the case, yes. Yeah. And I think, the nature versus nurture question, I actually was searching for a video of yours on online safety called Snapcatch, and I was then fed a video of Breck's story. And it brought me to tears because it was done from many years ago. But the psychologist at the end of the program basically said Breck's killer had the mindset of a killer. He was always going to kill someone. Wow. And that was with sort of psychological evaluation. So I think he wasn't nurtured, and he did have an evil nature. So for me, I feel that there are people that are born evil, but there also are ways that they could rehabilitate if they want to, if they get the nurturing and the love and the support. And in Breck's case, he didn't get that support, and he continued to turn into a worse and worse monster, building, crimes and hurting children along the way.
Just terrific. Well, Lorin Lafave, thank you so much for joining us today and for speaking so bravely about your son.